Life in GTA Online can be pretty rough because one day you're partying with your friends on a super yacht, drinking some champagne and smoking cigars, and then the next day you wake up broke with $10 in your bank account and you can't even front the setup fee for a new heist. And don't think that what I'm saying here is outlandish or exaggerated. I've personally seen it happen countless times during my 12 years of playing this game, and the point I'm trying to make here is that the city of Los Santos can turn you into a millionaire overnight, but it can also take away that money if you make poor choices. And with many new players, they don't even know what they're doing wrong. It's like trying to escape quicksand. You think you're making progress, but with each motion, you're only digging yourself deeper and deeper, and that's why I decided to make this video today as a cautionary tale to help people before they get into such a situation. It's one of the most frustrating feelings ever, and here are 7 ways that people go broke in GTA Online without even realizing it. The first and most obvious mistake that you can make is buying all of the wrong businesses at the start of your GTA Online career. That's because not every business in GTA Online is worth buying, and some are far less profitable than others, which is why I made a business tier list a while ago. So if you spend what little cash you have at the start on a mediocre business, it will take you longer to accumulate sufficient money for things like weapons, vehicles, as well as other new and better businesses. And this in turn will slow down your progress towards future purchases whenever an update drops. And what's worse here is that you might not even make that initial investment back if you purchase a business with low returns, like the document forgery office and for some players, the bail office. I've seen players being forced to spend real money on shark cards because they messed up early. Either that or they got annoyed and quit the game when they can't afford the content in the latest update that releases. Also, even if you buy a really good business, something that's S tier like the nightclub or acid lab, you can't just expect to sit on your butt and earn money. You need to make supporting investments in other areas of the game to extract the most out of these businesses. For instance, with the nightclub, unless you own a few other MC businesses or a CEO warehouse or a hangar, you're going to cut your profits in half because you're essentially skipping past the entire warehouse section of that business. Without the nightclub warehouse, your daily earnings will be restricted to just $50,000 every 48 minutes instead of $100,000 or more. And the same goes for the acid lab. If you speedrun through the drug war story missions and immediately start production in the back of your Brigade 6x6 without buying the equipment upgrade, your acid will take much longer to produce, cutting severely into your profit per hour, to the point where even mediocre MC businesses like the grass farm will actually outstrip the acid lab in terms of money making potential. Another mistake that a lot of players make is forcing themselves to play solo, even when they have friends available to tag in for a cell mission or a heist finale. And if you've been playing GTA Online for a while, you've probably seen it yourself in action. You may have even sent requests to players asking them if they want you to tag in for a cell, only for them to stubbornly refuse, and then 20 minutes later their entire bunker delivery worth over $1 million is blown up by some griefer on an oppressor Mark II. If only these guys had a partner riding beside them on protection duty, they would be able to sell their product and collect the high demand bonus without having to worry about griefers. The same goes for heists. Oftentimes you'll see new players grinding Kaio solo, even if they have friends online. Sure, you don't exactly make a ton more money in a duo, and the payout's almost about the same if you collect all the gold bars in the basement and the courtyard, because you're making anywhere from $1.8 to $2.4 million, which is about the split between two people. However, it is more profitable if you're running multiple heists a day, because when you play in a duo, Kaio's cooldown goes from 3 in-game days to just 1 in-game day, so you can do 3 times as many heists, and with the hard mode activated, you'll make way more money. Plus, the finale itself will also be easier if you mess up, because now you have 2 guns instead of 1 to fight against all the guards. Now, if you're doing the long distance cell missions where you have multiple vehicles in a public lobby, I'd say it's foolish to not have a friend or two with you, because anyone could just walk up to your idle vehicles and blow them up while you're on the other side of town delivering product. Even if you're just playing in an invite-only lobby, you may still want friends to help you out with the bunker and the MC business deliveries that involve multiple vehicles anyway. Otherwise, there's a good chance you could even run out of time and lose money on the product you haven't sold, unless you have an oppressor Mark II or a Sparrow to use so that you can quickly fly back after you make each drop. And the same goes for sourcing hanger crates too, for example. If you're a solo player, you can only bring back 1 crate at a time, and it's super inefficient that way compared to sourcing crates with your friends. Now, of course, all of this only applies to people who choose to play solo even when they have friends. If you don't have anyone online or you haven't made any friends because you're new to the game, don't sweat it. The game is still very solo friendly. There's a ton of solo friendly content for you. And by the way, you can always join my Discord if you want to team up with folks for a heist or a cell mission. The link to join will be in my description box down below. Next, for mistake number 3, I often see people getting fixated on one type of thing and buying it over and over. It's almost like an OCD thing where they feel like once they bought into the system, they need to go all out until they've collected every single variant. So for example, a guy buys a Coca-Cola lockup and a math lab, two of the most profitable MC businesses. Now you can stop here, maybe even buy a counterfeit cash factory if you want, but that's about as far as you should go early on if you actually plan on selling MC business product. Instead, what a lot of players will do is treat these businesses like Pokemon cards, and they'll buy all 5, including the Grass Farm and the Document Forgery Office, both of which are extremely underwhelming and honestly a giant waste of money when you don't have the cash to spare, because there's so many other better opportunities you could spend that money on. Then you spend money each day on the operating costs, and by the time you're finished buying supplies for each of your 5 MC businesses, you find out that you're completely broke. Now remember, businesses do require capital to maintain. You spend money on staff, upgrades, supplies, and sometimes your businesses might even get raided if the stocks go past 50%, so buying all of them just for the sake of it doesn't really make any sense. We can get most of the benefit just by purchasing 2 of the best businesses in any given category. Now if you're super late game and you just want to collect the rest, fine, but if you're early game, you don't need to get all of them is what I'm trying to argue here. And the same applies to vehicles and weapons. Just because your bank balance has enough digits to buy every single gun and every single car doesn't mean you should either. In all honesty, you probably won't even use 10% of the vehicles or weapons in the game. Most of the time, you'll stick to a combat MG or heavy sniper or a special carbine Mark II, maybe even a homing launcher or RPG for vehicles. And then speaking of vehicles, you only need 3 at its smallest amount. 1 for daily driving as well as free roam PvP, 1 for heist setups, and 1 for racing. Now I'm not saying you should keep these frugal spending habits till the end again, but it's crucial to not overspend early on as a new player or otherwise you will go broke. Collecting and modifying vehicles and weapons is one of the main reasons for playing GTA Online, but everything has a time and a place. If you haven't even earned $20 million yet on your character, forget about buying a ton of exotic cars or cool new weapons and stick to the essentials first. And focus on investments that are going to make you more cash, not just depreciating assets. Another way a lot of people go broke in this game is by going crazy on vehicle mods. Fenders, bumpers, wheels, engine tuning, exhaust, tires, suspension, as well as armor upgrades. There are endless ways to customize your vehicle, and it can be quite addicting because you can significantly change the characteristics of your favorite cars with mods and personalize them to the point where it's an extension of your character and identity. However, it's also very easy to overspend on these cars and you aren't exactly making any money back. They're just a vanity item. These are purchases that you make for yourself, unlike the client jobs that you do in the auto shop that, for example, will generate you a profit. The Arena War vehicles are perhaps the biggest offenders when it comes to this type of misguided spending, because people will buy an Arena workshop and end up spending tens of millions of dollars or more on all sorts of vehicle purchases and upgrades. And sure, the Arena War vehicles are some of the coolest in terms of visual design, but they're also super expensive and they serve very little purpose outside of Arena War itself. Police cars are also another type of vehicle that you should be wary of if you don't have that much money, because these can cost upwards of $4 or even $5 million. Tons of players were begging Rockstar for a long time to add cop cars, and then finally they arrived in game. But don't try to start a cop car collection just because they look cool, otherwise you'll end up losing $20 million or more on something that's just as functional with 1 police car, because that's all you need to own to start the Vincent Effenberger dispatch missions. Mistake number 5 is buying a business and forgetting to upgrade it. Most businesses in GTA 5 Online will generate revenue really slowly unless you invest in staff and equipment upgrades. This is true of MC businesses, as well as the bunker and even the nightclub warehouse. Security upgrades are generally something that you can skip because it's super easy to avoid raids just by disbanding your motorcycle club or retiring from your CEO position as soon as you're done with a business. However, you cannot skip the staff and equipment upgrades first, because these have a significant impact on how long these businesses take to convert supplies into your products. And this is another reason why you also shouldn't mindlessly buy a bunch of businesses early on, because you'll end up with several dead weights that struggle just to make back the initial investment while you go broke just trying to upgrade and maintain these businesses. One of the easiest fixes to going broke is by setting a cash floor for yourself that you cannot break. Every day you log in, plan your expenses beforehand and set a limit that you cannot drop below, something like $100,000 or $200,000. If you're about to make a purchase that will bring you below this amount, stop right there and divert your mind elsewhere. Another really good habit to get into is trying to make back whatever you spend on the same day. So for example, if you just spent $1.6 million buying yourself a nightclub, spend the next couple hours on Cayo Perico, the Cluck and Bella Farm raid, Dr. Dre contract, whatever fits your schedule, right? And try and earn that money that you spent back. This will guarantee that you break even each day while accumulating new assets for future wealth generation. And then finally, for mistake number 7, and possibly the most dangerous one on today's list, we've got the impulse purchases. This is what happens when someone new to the game makes their first large chunk of cash, something like $1 million or more from the Cayo Perico heist or Dr. Dre contract, and they immediately rush to the car shop to buy a brand new supercar. Not only are you wasting precious cash on something that serves zero function and won't make you any money, but this is crucial time that you're wasting. 2 hours of heist to buy a car that you'll get bored of in 2 minutes is not worth it. This is the biggest advantage that rich GTA Online players have over the broke boys, and it's patience. Resisting that instant gratification to save up for an S-tier business means that while you won't be able to afford your favorite supercar today, a month from now, you won't have to choose. You could buy multiple supercars at the same time, and more expensive ones as well. This is the secret to staying rich in GTA Online. And there you have it. Those are the top 7 reasons that players go broke in GTA Online. This can happen to both newbies as well as multimillionaires alike, and you should never get complacent with your money unless you have like $200 million or something, because it is very easy to blow that money away on frivolous purchases that offer absolutely nothing in return. Have you ever gone from rich to broke in GTA Online? And if you did, how did you recover? Definitely sound off in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, or subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date with more GTA Online content like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, especially twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv for daily consistent GTA 5 online live streams. Also check out my YouTube shorts for rapid fire tips and tricks content, as well as my original TikToks as well. Again, hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next GTA Online video. Adios, amigos.